Hello, it's Jenny from Ginger Ninja Crafts, and I am here because it's the first of the month, so it is the One Sketch Challenge, and that is hosted by the very lovely, Lisa over at the Crafting Diva, and this is our sketch for the 1st of December. Now, I'm setting myself a little challenge because I watched a video from Sabine over at Cross Keys Crafts the other week, and she said rather than buying a crafting advent calendar, she was going to put together one with goodies from her craft stash that she had bought or been gifted and hadn't used yet. So I too have made myself a little crafty advent calendar. So I think it's mostly dies and stamps. I think there's one stencil in there, and I have just shoved them either in little Christmassy paper bags I had from doing an advent calendar for somebody else a long time ago, or some wrapping paper. This, I was shopping at the weekend in this Sustren Grun, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, so I had some things were too big for those bags. So what I'm hoping is, whatever I get on the 1st, I can use to make something with this. So, this is my first little envelope. I think it's a clearly besotted stamp set peeking out the top. Oops. Look how cute that is. I have had this for a while. Yuletide Yeti it's called. Let it snow, you are unbelievably cool. So yeah, keep watching if you want to see me using this to make this. So I am faffing about here. I've cut a little white heart out of card, and then I'm going to create the sort of bit that the heart sits on with the rest of that bit of scrap card. My heart is not quite as big. My real heart is very big, but this one is not quite as big as on the sketch, but that's okay. I'm making that okay. So I'm just cutting that little triangle out of the bottom, and then I think I'm deciding what I'm going to do is a bit of heat embossing. So there is, as well as the Yetis in this stamp set, there is a couple of tiny little penguins that are very cute. So I am just stamping them on with my Wow embossing ink, which is, I'm not really in shot, but you get it. So I'm just using white embossing powder on there, and then I'm kind of filling in the gaps. It's so hard to try and get this balanced, but anyway, so I tend to do a few, put the embossing powder on so you can see where they are, and then go back in and add in so that, you know, maybe there's a few over the edge, or just to make it look a bit more like it is a piece of patterned paper. And then I think I am, yeah, so then I've heat embossed it, I think I've heated that up off camera. So now I'm away to get some inks. So I've got a couple of distress sprays. I think that's Blueprint Sketch and Peacock Feather, I think. And then I decided I wanted a little bit of something lighter. So I've kind of added a bit of a Distress Oxide, and then I'm going in with a mica to add a little bit of shimmery sheen to it, because you know it's Christmas. So then I'm just gonna let that dry a bit, and I decide I wanted to add a navy matte to the card, and here I faff about some more. Do you know, I'm filming this after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I think what I've learned in this is my brain doesn't really work very well after 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's just as well I'm not a brain surgeon or something. So I am adding that layer and then trying to decide what could go in between that navy and this inky panel. So I just recently got my Simply Cards and Papercraft, and it came with some lovely Christmassy festive papers. So I'm just looking through a few, and I like this one. It's the sort of a light greeny blue with a few wee snowflakes on it, but it's very subtle, and I think it needs something that's quite subtle for that one to go on top of it. Then I think that white heart is a wee bit, it's a bit bland, but I'm using it to check and see which size of stamps I can use, and I want to do the Yeti and one of the little penguin chums with them. So I'm just stamping them on a bit of plain white card. I'm using my Memento ink, and then I'm using my random collection of alcohol markers to colour them in. So I've got a few Copics, I've got a few Spectrum Noirs. Is that what they're called? Spectrum? Whatever they're called, the triple blends. So I've coloured in the wee penguin. Now, what colour's a Yeti? What colour is a Yeti in your mind's eye? I think it's white, isn't it? Wait, I do a terrible thing to this poor wee Yeti. He's got wee reindeer antlers on, so that's fine. I've coloured them in beautifully. And I start with going round doing some shading with the grey. So kind of behind his feet and behind his paws, so that, you know, you see that little bit of shadow. That's all fine. And then I think he's got like a little kind of little pad on each feet. I decide that should be blue. Then I start deciding the whole thing should be blue. So anyway, he's imaginary, this Yeti, and he's blue. Is that, have I done a terrible thing? So his little face is white, but his fluffy bits are blue. So let me know what you think. I think it's terrible, but anyway. It's too late now. So I have to go back in and add the wee penguin's eyes, and I'm just letting them dry a bit. So I'm going in to do the blue Yeti. I mean, he's cute, but I don't think he should be blue. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Are you as horrified as I am with myself? So, I do love a bit of fussy cutting. I think the clearly besotted stamps do come with coordinating dies, but I never got on with them, so I just do it myself. Now here I'm trying to put some of that patterned paper onto the heart, and I cut too much. I leave a little, like, look, I've made a mess of it. So then I try and do it on the other side. I tell you, this is a disaster. I mean, I'm quite often a bit chaotic in the craft room, but today was particularly chaotic. So here I am again. No, it's a disaster. Pause. Here we go. That's a disaster. So I just cut it out of that, and the whole thing is. And of course, I'm going to cover that up with my inky panel. It's like it never happened. See? There you go. And then I just put that one on the top there. So I'm going to stick that heart down and then add the two wee characters. Now, there are lots of wee bits of sentiment, and I decide I'm going to go on navy and do some heat embossing. So I've got my little anti-static bag there and my embossing ink, and I've gone on to the super fine embossing powder, and it says, "Is it Christmas Yeti?" because I love a pun. So then I cut that out, and I decide I'm going to do the little sort of flag edges. Is that what you call them? I think so. I think, well, I put it at the bottom. I should have put it at the bottom. Then I decide I'm putting it up there. Anyway, that's what I went with.